most HOAs have some type of a penalty schedule. Usually it's monetary. We're gonna do some research on that, and if we update the deed restrictions, it'll have to go to a system-wide vote. So you can anticipate that in the future to see what we can do with that. And again, if you see something in our deed restrictions have needed an update for years, and I still read the deed restrictions, see what it says. If you see something there that you think needs to be updated, modified, please send us that information, and we're gonna go through the process and start modifying and updating our deed restrictions because they're way out of date. And that's pretty much covered what we did in executive session. ARC report, the membership, we only need 3. We still have Ted Krill on there. I have not had a chance to get a hold of Ted to find out if he still wants to be on it. Right now we've got Michael Scalafani, Tim Toll, and Amy Lard in it. Current projects, I'm sorry? Laird, I'm sorry. I'm from Kansas, I can slaughter any name. Current projects, we got Anthony and Laura are building their house over there. They've got approval for a hangar, which will be on the other side of the tree line on the roadside. They're hoping to be moved in by August. We'll see how that goes. We talked about educating the ARC. We'd like to make sure that the ARC understands what the deed restrictions are. And then I think we're gonna see that even though the ARC has the right to approve stuff, we would like to at least have, whenever the ARC comes up with an approval, before it's going back to the owners, do a board review just to see if there's anything we missed. And I think that's probably a good thing to do. So those are some things that we're looking at as far as the responsibilities and education of our ARC members. I've already talked about the registered agent issue. Old business fire ants, we treated in April. We've had a lot of rain. The treatment appeared to be fairly successful. However, they're starting to show their little ugly heads again. So if we can get a dry spell for at least 4 or 5 days, which we may be getting here soon, I'll probably go out and at least get the runways and taxiways treated, and then we still have extinguish available for owners. You can contact Pat or myself or the board for extinguish, and we may need to get some more. If you've got areas in your yard, such as a garden, that you want to treat for fire ants, because they like raised bed gardens very well, I know that from personal experience. Orange oil works well. There's a variety of non-toxic things that you can do to fight fire ants. The orange oil kills them, and I'm a happy person if a fire ant dies. So that's just me. So we'll keep working on that. The HOA, that we don't have air conditioning in here, nor do we have a fan, but it saves us a little money, and it seems to work well, and it's local, and it's neutral, and so this building is serving its purpose rather well so far. We're probably gonna have some type of a fueling station here eventually, but and we've got a little freshwater access that we need to do. We did get the air compressor purchased. Runway taxiway maintenance, we put 92 loads of sand on the runways and taxiways this year. And we spent about $14,000 on sand, but it was needed. Particularly the taxiway, the only taxiway we didn't touch was the one which I believe is, I can't remember the names, but I named them all once at one point in time, over by, on the southwest side. That one's still in relatively good shape, but we had some major e-ticket rides, even mowing on a couple of the taxiways, and we treated those over by the Lairds and that. So that taxiway, and there was a low spot down there by Tim Toll that we've talked about before, and we've applied some in there to start to raise that up so we'll get better drainage. It's a process, because we'll get the grass back in and we'll put another layer in there, but at least we got that started. So far, the feedback from people on the runway said it's better than it's been, so I think we're moving forward on that end of it. Runway maintenance committee, which I'm not even too sure who all we've got on that right now. We have had so much rain, we haven't had to worry about watering so much. We did get the water machine, our own individual sprinkler right now is fixed. We did that relatively inexpensively. We had to haul it all the way south to Belleville, but the repair was less than $400 to get it resealed, so that's working. We had one leak that we repaired on the south end by the Shannons, and we got that fixed. So the water system is awaiting the need for water on the runway. Does anybody have any comments on the HOA social committee? I don't know much going on.
No, we need to get some things going.
So let's talk a little bit about mower service and expenses. We did have a axle failure on the mower. It messed up the rear axle on the wheel. We now have access to King Ranch, John Deere in Huntsville that works on those mowers. And they actually came here and did it in-house, which was nice. It's not cheap, but it's nice. The cost of that was about $4,000 to get it all fixed and serviced, so it was due. Right now, we've got our mower working, and in the interim, we've been having Eduardo mow the runway. He does that for $450, which isn't terribly expensive, and he does a nice job. I would mow if I have time, and if we have people available that want to use our mower to mow, they can. We could coordinate that, but for now, I think we're just going to let Eduardo do that. It certainly takes a load off of those of us that have done it, so. And then if anybody, we've had a couple people want to go out and mow. Right now, as you know, you can mow on a Wednesday, and by Friday or Saturday, the wonderful Dallas grass pods are already about 6 to 8 inches tall. It's a constant battle with that stuff. And to get rid of Dallas grass, you'd have to kill everything on the runway to get rid of it. So we overseeded when we fertilized. We did put a fertilizer application on the runway. And taxiways, we spent about $1,400 on that. And that's gonna make it grow even faster. And hopefully some of the Bermuda will, with all the rain that we have, we'll get more Bermuda. If you fertilize Bermuda enough, it'll eventually overtake the other grasses. That's our goal. Water drainage, we do have a culvert that has a hole in it in between Schwechten's and Robbie's place. I've discussed it with a gutter guy, or my dirt guy that's installed culverts out here before. I didn't realize that we could potentially put a sleeve over that hole, dig around it, and there's a sleeve that goes over those. It's a plastic culvert. We still have some questions on size, and so I'll be taking some measurements and evaluating that. When we get 2 inches of rain in an hour, it still backs up. Part of the problem is there's a lot of trash on the inlet that is, they've attempted to mow some of that out of there, but how much stuff is inside the culvert? So we'll be doing some maintenance on that. The drainage system, we've got, when we get a lot of rain, and we get it really fast, it's not an all-weather airport, sadly, and we still have a few places that, maybe a vulture, I don't know. But the drainage system and a lot of the areas, we need to come in here with a clean-out bucket and clean some of that stuff out to tweak the drainage system a little better. And that'll be down the road to do that. We got sand applied, and we're building up some low areas that were problem areas of holding water. Some of it was due to the fact that there wasn't dirt in there. The one by Scalafani's and some of the places here on the north end of the runway, we put some fill dirt in there, and we'll continue to work on the drainage system for the runway to clean some of that out. Delinquent HOA dues, we're all caught up as far as I know. So we're back in good shape there. We've already talked about the clearway on Ponderosa Drive as a taxiway. I did go and trim trees back again. I trimmed the trees at the front because they were encroaching. Also due to the fact that we've got that lot sold down there, that Ponderosa Drive is a taxiway, goes all the way to the highway, so I don't know what their plans are down the road for access on that, but at least now they can taxi by those trees without getting a leaf brush wash as they go by, so, that needed to be cleaned up for a long time, to do that. We still have some, hog control hasn't been a major issue here lately. However, it seems like we've had animals on the runway, we've had dogs on the runway. There's a lot of animals out here. We have a fox that personally I don't like very much. There's one less of them around here, but he killed 22 chickens and they were killing them for fun. I think the one fox may still be here. We've seen him a little bit. If you see him and shoot him, I'm okay with that. But we need to get rid of him because they're not very friendly to, they're killing cats, they're killing kittens, they're killing anything they can get a hold of. And they're really good at it. But when you kill 2 chickens in front of me and lay down underneath my tree in the shade to take a nap, that doesn't fare very well with me. And we've had a lot of raccoons out here. The raccoon population is diminished as well. So I've relocated 9 raccoon, a possum, 3 vultures. The list continues. If you see any animals, we have a stray pit bull out here right now that I'm not too sure what the status is of that. I'm a little concerned about pit bulls, period, because if they turn on you, they're very vicious. If all else fails, it sounds like it's very skittish because it runs, but you could call animal control, or if it disappears for some unknown reason, that's okay too. But monitor if you see something, please let somebody on the board know, so that we can start tracking this stuff. Road conditions, county update, is there anything new on that? I don't think there is that I know of. They've come out here and did a little patchwork, but that's about as much as I've seen. So.
Yeah, that's all they continue to do, just throw something at it. But they're just gonna do an updated list for the tax base. And then we're gonna put together a petition, get everybody to sign it, and go to the next county meeting, bring it out to the light, let them know that all their elected positions and people are taking notice to it, so we're gonna try to put a little heat on them. That's the plan for that, and that's about all you can do.
And if you got your latest tax estimate, it seems like it's continuing to go up, and that's just more firepower to say we're paying a lot of taxes out here for.
Yes, we are.
Lot prices, I think the 10 acres sold for around 40 an acre. Some of this stuff goes, if you look at the estimate by the county, I think they're up to 51 now on taxable. So the values keep going up. I think the development east of us, those are running over 80,000 an acre. So property prices continue to go up as well. We've talked about, on the new business side, the signage is still ongoing as far as what we're gonna say and do on the signage.
So that may have changed, since that we did check into some of the what do they call them, like the
Billboard,
not just the billboard, but the wraps and some of the other types like that. With that property selling, that may create a problem, because we were gonna get with Ted and see if he would allow us to temporarily put something up, so we'd have to get with the new homeowner to see if they'd be, interested in that. So, once they decide what they're gonna do, get settled in, we'll have to talk to them. Cause I don't think, there's nowhere you want it on common property, I don't think, with aircraft, cause in order to be big enough to be visible, it's.
Is that an easement over there that runs up there where that thing's sitting? I saw those power.
that's a good question.
Utility pole trucks running
I'm
up
sure there is.
I'd have to look at the plat to know for sure.
But they'd have to give the okay as well.
Yeah,
right?
they'd have to get your permission to do that. Okay,
What kind of a sign are you talking about?
just a sign notifying the people east of us that there's airport operations here.
Oh, okay.
Look above, stay low, airplanes flying ahead.
They had a good one at Covey Trail until an airplane flew through it, so.
There you go.
It was on the ground, they kind of landed short of the runway.
There are animals on the runway. People watch out when you go out there. I had a big white dog run out there last time I flew the bear in and out of here. It just went right out, sat right in front of the airplane. Almost had to shut the motors down and get rid of it.
So the key to that is if you see anything that's on the runway that's not supposed to be there, please report it and document it, take a picture of it, whatever you can do, so we can get a handle on that. Including foxes and deer, they're gonna do their own thing, but, the key is communication and reporting this stuff. What did I miss?
The other thing to watch for on the runway are the mowing.
Oh, yeah, so, we got a flag on our mower, we may have to come up with some type of a flag system for Eduardo or something, so there's been a couple instances where they got close, I guess, so.
Oh, really?
We landed last time, when we crossed the runway, he was going from Sweckton's toward the pond. So we crossed the threshold, and so that's not too bad. I mean, it bothered my wife more than me. I could see it wasn't dangerous, but it bothered her. So I was crossing the threshold, and he was crossing the runway from Sweckton to the pond. And so, I mean, that's not too close. Like I said, it didn't really bother me. It bothered my wife said, make sure and tell, Jay.
I'll let him know. so
But
that
then he
knows.
looked at me, cause that's about where I turned around, and I could tell you,
Yeah.
I could tell he was a little, like, seeing if I was upset, and I wasn't really upset.
You were way too nice, I would've flown over his head about 3 feet just to say
Yeah.
congratulations at area.
Yeah, I didn't
I'm
wanna
gonna
do
Jay in T6 one day, just to
Well,
make sure he knows it's.
I came from Amarillo, and I didn't nonstop, and I didn't wanna do a go-around for that, I was ready to land.
Yeah.
3 hours and
Oh, yeah.
land.
TV.
So anyway, I think it was just fine, but,
I'll let him know.
Yeah.
It'll be on my- And actually, I was talking to Eric about this the other day, on the mower. I've got some spare material down at my hangar that we could build like a little awning on the mower and attach it with bolts to the,
You mean shade?
to the roll bar for shade, yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we'll put a,
I've got a rotating beacon board.
Target on top.
you know, put a target or something.
That's all right.
Okay, no problem.
I've got a flash with it.
Or we'll put an X,
That's-
we'll
we've
put an
used
X
it.
on top of it, don't land here.
I had a flasher for years and I still have it over there, it's just, you plug in a cigarette lighter and it did rotations.
Okay.
It was kind of pretty, if you wanted to put music to it, it'd work great.
Cool, well, do we need a motion for me to be able to build a little thing and put on it, or just, everybody okay with it?
I think that's just mower maintenance and you grab the assignment, I'm all.
I got it.
Anybody have any issues with that? We'll let Jay go after it.
One question,
Yes,
I may have missed it, the canceled construction update?
or that's as much as I can say about it.
Okay.
We've got that one. Anybody else have anything else? I missed.
Just irrigation, we didn't mention it, Monday,
Well,
the guy's gonna call back Monday.
The people that repaired our sprinkler when we were down there, we asked him if they did irrigation installation, and we told him what we had, and he was interested on looking at it, so, we'll hear from him Monday, and as that goes on, we'll let everybody know. When we find out what it's gonna cost, and we'll be back, try to debate or grovel and say how we can afford this, but we'd like to make it work. I think it would be a huge asset and plus for the airstrip, so. So Brian, do you have any questions? You're being induced into this by fire, so.
Yeah, no, not really.
All we do is like airplanes and we like to fly airplanes.
Yeah.
So.
And Brian, if I was mowing when you got dumped off, I thought maybe somebody was mad at you, so I didn't recognize you.
Oh, yeah.
You could've jumped on the back of the mower and gave you a ride back.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, no, we didn't drop the kids off in Tulsa and just drop me off here. So.
What year is, that's a Debonair, right?
Yeah.
What year is it?
63, I think.
225?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Hold on.
And then I have a 170, Cessna 170. So.
That's okay too, I have assessed
Yeah.
on that.
Okay.
There's a couple 170s.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, no, we're excited to be out here. And, so my wife and I, her name's Reagan, And then we have 2 kids. My son's named Bryson, he's 7 years old. And my daughter will turn 3 on 4th of July.
Oh, fun,
Awesome.
cool,
And a dog, so I have a dog, little puppy dog right now.
great.
We all have dogs.
Cool.
Well,
But yeah,
welcome to the zoo.
thank you. Yeah, and then I'll try to build a hangar here soon, so I need to figure out what to do for that and the process or whatever, so.
Add 10 foot to the length and width.
I know.
And then add 10 more.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I
might
mean,
just let you afterwards.
there's some work to do on that house, like I need to kind of bring some dirt in and do some grading, so if you guys have anyone that you know, I would absolutely like to talk to them, so.
Sure.
Yeah, if anybody has any information like that, just local people that they recommend, so.
Yep, we got a good dirt guy.
Yeah, we got
And even, yeah, for the building, you know,
Okay.
hangar.
we got a good dirt guy that we use. He just dumped 92 loads on the runway, so.
Okay.
And he's just down the road, so.
Huh?
Yeah, I'd like to talk to them. So-
It's a nice combination of stabilized soil and got sand in it, plus the red clay, which is what stabilized soil is.
Okay,
If you don't know what the soil is out here, it's called black gumbo, and there's about 100 other names for it that aren't very nice,
yeah, okay,
because it's got an expansion coefficient of between 80 and 90, and moves.
okay.
So,
He's also got good topsoil over there too, as in like sandy loam kind of stuff. We put it on our place after. we
Yeah,
got
that's
it.
what I would need is some time.
And then just water the dirt. My wife thought I was crazy when I told her to water dirt. But
Yeah.
the hayfield grows from.
Okay.
The grass.
Yeah, no, I need to put in, yeah, so.
cool. Well, welcome, I'm glad.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
We got the south end of the runway flower bed all cleaned up and everything. Is there a status on that? I thought we were gonna try to repair if needed the sprinkler system down there and then maybe put some shrubs in. I think the ladies had
Did we get
expressed
it
an
in
interest in.
from Eduardo or anything?
I think the key, do we wanna get those ivy lilies out of there, in the root system?
I'm fine with that. I don't, if you guys want them out, we pull them out. If you don't, we don't. Doesn't matter to me.
I think those need to be removed, cause all those do is crawl and overtake everything that's in there, and then once you get that done, cause that root system alone will destroy whatever irrigation system is in there. So if we get those out, and then if Edgewater wants to landscape it, that's fine with me. Anybody have any issues with that? No.
I'll make a motion to proceed forward with that then.
We'll second that. All motions on the floor to move on with dressing up the south end of the runway and the garden bed, so all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion approved, we'll move forward with that.
Okay.
Any questions from the crowd? You got your soil easy, this is a great briefing.
Water well, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I have emptied my storage shed, so I have all kinds of PVC stuff down there
Mhm.
with which to add this. So do you wanna go out the back door, the back, and the side, and then put a stub out there possibly for some sprinklers to go around here? And whatever you need, we can do it. I have a lot of stuff.
Why don't we just do a stub outside and use a freeze-proof hydrant,
We can do that.
so we don't have to mess with that. That'd be the start, so we've got water outside, and then if we choose to expand it, we can just add to it.
Add to it, put a T on it, add to it. That'll work. And you and I will talk about it later about the word T off here.
Then the other thing that's gonna happen in here, when I get the chance, is we're gonna run where the entranceway concrete is go ahead and run a concrete pad over here to where this well pad is at. And that way we've got, and then we'll get the rest of this out and we'll have wall storage, just something we just got stuff laying everywhere right now, but we can have a little workbench in there with storage, excuse me, and,
And I have a lot of wood that I'm not using, so I'll donate the wood to build it down here as soon as we get the pad for it.
so I think that's the improvements. Eric's gonna put a fan in here, which we could use today, but it's not quite in yet. Not fully air conditioned, but just moving there. And,
That's your bedroom fan, by the way, I'm donating.
You put a fan?
Cause your mother hates my fan. I can't take it off high, so. it'd
Now,
be great.
now that was contingent on him talking to you, so we'll see how this works out down the road. If we see him sleeping on the porch, we know it didn't go
He's
well.
gonna push a better fan.
It's WAO all the time, wide open.
Wide open.
A big ass fan's going.
And an unhappy mother-in-law, it means an unhappy me.
That's my mom's
She got an
schedule.
action.
You know, when she's
There you go.
and so she wants it, she's been on it, so, cause they lost the remote when we moved in. We did, it was lost when we moved in, and so it's never worked.
That is correct.
It's again.
It
Okay.
looks just like an airplane propeller, so you'll like it.
Oh, that's perfect.
So when we did the maintenance on the runway, put the sand out, if I'm not mistaken, when they came out and they fertilized and
They
they
fertilized and seeded.
seeded, okay.
And
Did
then
they put any herbicide?
they do not do herbicide anymore. I asked them about that. So if we wanna do herbicide, we've got the spreaders over there, and if we buy bags of herbicide, we wanna spread them on the runway and see if we can weed and feed or whatever we wanna do, we can do that.
Okay. All right,
Cause I've got brand new tires on the spreader,
good,
so it works good. It holds about 200 pounds.
okay.
And then it works good for, it's a good little spreader. That was, we inherited that one.
Yeah, I got one too that holds about the same, holds 4 bags,
So,
so we could do that. Whenever you want, let me know. We'll
Yep.
get it.
any other thoughts or concerns? I got something dripping down my leg, so I'm ready to, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll make that motion. I'll second it.
Jay made a motion to adjourn, Mitch seconded, all in favor say aye. Anybody wanna say aye over there? There you go. Meeting's adjourned.